My settings will work for me today. Oop, shit.
No, you
Check.
have successfully gone live. Oh, you're
Yay!
so tiny.
We are the tiny beans, the tiny beans. As we should be compared to the DM.
Okay, you sound fine.
Nice.
I sound fine.
Okay, everything should be set up. Wonderful. All right. Ta-da. Hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today, our DM and our storyteller is Benny once again. If you guys want to go see more of his content, go check out his TikTok, Autis DM. Fantastic stuff. If you guys want to learn kind of how to be a DM or tips and tricks or other TTRPG fun stuffs, or even skits, he does a lot of those. And today we're going to be finding out and starting up for the first time, kind of discovering a new journey of ours, which is called Oceans Ablaze, a wonderful pirate journey. So come on in, take a seat, let your imagination run free, and Benny, if you'd like to take over.
Thank you so much. And as always, thank you all for being here and for having me on. So, our story takes place a few hundred years after our last campaign. You all will remember that that campaign world was dominated by two great empires and their effectively Cold War with each other, which ended in spectacular and disastrous fashion for all involved. But those empires are gone now and have been taken, their place has been taken over by a series of successor states. And it's a bit of a free for all in this world, a good environment for pirates to thrive. And it's a bit of a dangerous environment because now there are all these tiny little kingdoms with all their own rules and laws. And so you can unknowingly break the rules of one kingdom, bringing what turns out to be contraband from one place to another just because of random things being illegal. The one thing that is universally illegal in this world is slavery. And the reason why is not because of the goodness of anybody's heart. It's because there is a fanatical Knoll brand called the Freyheart Jaegers who what they do to slavers when they catch them is legendary, and nobody wants to tangle with them or their somewhat legendary leader. Now, that's enough for me for the moment. I'd like to get into introducing the players and the characters. So, what I'd like is I'll call on you in the order I see you on my screen, and just tell us your characters' classes. We're doing a Gestalt campaign, so each character has two classes instead of one, and their race and a sentence or two about them. We'll get to know them as the campaign goes on, so we don't necessarily need the life story. So we'll start with Ace.
All right, so Ace is a human rogue warlock. He's we're starting at level 3, so he's a rogue swashbuckler. And he is a warlock of the Hexblade. He is kind of the face of the pirate crew. He's kind of the guy who introduces the pirate crew, gets jobs, interacts with people, kind of gets new talent, new interest around. And one of his main things is that he kind of sees everything in terms of value more than he sees in terms of relation or interest. And so he tends to gather odd folks or just kind of oddities that he thinks will be very useful to the ship or could be useful in the next job or other stuff like that.
All right, and what's Ace's passive perception?
His passive perception is going to be a
Right off the
12, it
bat.
looks like.
12. Okay. And next up, we have Locke.
Locke is a goblin, artificer, artillerist, alchemist, mad bomber. Just your typical green goblin, messy hair because he doesn't shower that often. The smell of char and other chemicals tend to cover the stank. At
All
my
right.
side all the time is my best friend Lode, a construct, eldritch cannon that I keep next to me, made out of the scrap pieces of barrels, springs, and rope to sort of create this wolf-like structure that actually moves as it should.
All right. And what is Locke's passive perception?
11.
11. All right. And next up, we have Melody Oceanstar.
I changed her name last night to Princess Marina Oceanstar, but she is a princess trident. She is a circle of shepherd, druid, and a bard of lore. Bard. She is naive and curious. She's basically a little tweaked version of just a curious princess of all life above, especially since she had helicopter parents in a sense. So, yeah.
All right. And what's her passive?
Her passive is 18.
18.
Very curious, but very watchful.
Okay. And last up, we have Signa.
Signa is a aberrant mind sorcerer and a fathomless warlock. When stranded at sea, she made a pact with the Great Old Ones, which had an effect on both her magical prowess and her mind. She's primarily sort of a frontline character overall, and is generally very utilitarian in perspective. People more as how valuable they are to the Great Old Ones, more than how valuable they are to her personally.
All right. And what's her passive perception?
10.
Okay. And what race is this character?
High Elf.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. And just two quick sort of points of order I wanted to mention about the relationships of the characters that didn't quite come up. One of them is that Signa and Ace gain their warlock powers at the same time on the same ill-fated journey. And it's not quite clear if they actually have the same patron or not. The powers manifest differently, so it could be the same patron benefiting them differently, or it could be rivals, or it could be powerful beings working in tandem. With such things, it's always hard to know. All right. So you are on your ship, which I believe you all had a name for it, and I can't quite remember what it was.
I believe it was the Morning Star.
Morning Star. Okay. So you're on the Morning Star, which is something akin to a sloop. It's a relatively small vessel with a light crew. It's yourselves and about half a dozen others. There's not much in the cargo hold. Melody, there's a particular crate that you were embedded, implanted, whatever term you want to use, with the crew, with the express purpose of guarding this and making sure it gets where it needs to go. And the captain is an orc who, to all appearances, is just a gruff, burly, tough. He will hit you if you cross him. But Ace, being his first mate, you know him a little bit better than that, and you know there's a little more to him. Now, as the ship is underway, what do you think you all would be doing? We'll go ahead and go in the reverse order. So we'll start with Signa. It's a relatively clear day. Ship is traveling along at a solid clip. What would your character be up to at this point?
My character is largely trying to the waves generally and get a feel for how the ocean is acting and behaving, and if there's any signs of potential bad weather in the future. Just generally making sure the ship is safe.
So you could do either perception or nature, whichever you're better at.
It's going to be actually, they're the same, so... going to be a 12.
12. Okay. You do sense something a little bit strange on the water. It's not a natural phenomenon, and you're not quite sure what it is. You're on the north edge of something called the Shimmering Sea, and this is coming from roughly east of you.
Something to the east of us. I have no idea what it is. I believe we should fire something at it.
All right, so that'll bring us to Marina. And what would your character be doing, and how would your character be reacting to the news that Signa has just given you?
So she's trying to protect a crate or a box of sorts, or
Yeah, there's cargo that you were, as far as the rest of the crew know, you just joined the pirate crew for the sake of joining it. You were actually specifically instructed to join this crew for the specific purpose of accompanying this crate by not really your superiors, but by one of the land kingdoms that people want to have relationships with.
okay. She'll run over and look in that direction, or take the highest spot of the ship and look in that direction to double check.
All right, so that sounds like a perception check.
That is not the highest. 16.
All right, so there is a ship on the horizon, and what you notice immediately about this ship is that it's a very outdated design. During the days of the Great Empires, they had very broad ships that ran under war power. And since then, since there was so much loss of life and the collapse and manpower is not as abundant, the ships are sleeker, they're more reliant on sails. And so it's odd that you're seeing this out here, to the point that like you've heard of this kind of ship, but you might never have seen one. And you also notice, for being obsolete, it's moving at a really good clip.
Okay. So she'll call out and it's like, it looks to be an older ship, if that's what matters to you guys.
All right, so Locke, your companions are now looking to the east, essentially directly behind you, at this large old ship that seems to be getting closer.
So I'm gonna. How far away? Well, you know what? I'm not even on the deck to even know how far away this ship is. But everybody else is on the deck.
Everybody else is on deck, so if you're below decks, you would be hearing a commotion from above. If you want to ignore it and do whatever it is you had in mind to do before this all came up, you're welcome to do that.
So Cap never asked any questions about this crate, did he? We have no idea what's actually in it.
No idea. It was paid extra to not ask questions.
So I've snuck my way down into the hold, and I'm twirling a crowbar in my hands. Before I go after it, because I hear the commotion, I'm gonna put a hand up to my ear. There's a small earpiece that I keep in one of my ears, and I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna cast message, and I'm gonna try and get a hold of Ace.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna tap it, looking up towards the deck. Ace, what's all the commotion up there?
Okay, so before you respond, Ace, you are going to hear this message, but it's going to take you a moment to have an answer because you don't necessarily know what the crew are looking at yet.
Mm-hmm.
While you're waiting for Ace's reply, Locke, and Locke, you would probably know that.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. So while you're waiting for his reply, what are you doing?
I'm gonna take the crowbar over to the box. All right, Lode. Let's see what Cap wouldn't ask questions about. I don't like knowing what the hell we're carrying. I gotta know what's on this ship. It's part of my job is knowing what's going on with the ship. This could be something that could destroy the ship, for all I know. And I'm gonna start like prying it open because ain't nobody down here to stop me.
Fair
Fine.
enough.
I
All
love
right.
Locke.
So mad.
So what you discover when you start prying on this thing is that it's actually a hinged box. And the box is almost 6 feet long and almost 3 feet wide. So one side is hinges, the other side was nailed shut. And you're able to open it without too much effort. And what you see inside of the box is a human woman. She is alive, but she's in some kind of stasis, which magic is common enough in this world, and you are acquainted enough with magic to understand that that's what it is. So she's not moving, but she doesn't have any of the appearance of death about her. And what you're able to immediately ascertain is that this is a person of some nobility, just her clothing, her jewelry. This is not some tavern wench who got kidnapped. This is someone of nobility, at least. And so you're now staring at a person who is in a box, in a pirate ship, in stasis, for you have no idea what reason. And that is going to bring us to Ace. What's
All
Ace
right.
going to be doing?
So Ace, hearing all this commotion and whatnot, he's probably going to be kind of looking around, kind of his crew, giving orders of like, probably keep on track as he probably pops up next to Marina and looks at the ship. Considering his general knowledge of seafaring ships and everything from last decade to be so being on the sea, and it being an old ship, would he know if it would be like a older ship that people generally use in order to escape general assumptions, or is it like what pirates usually use, older ships to make people calm? Is it seeming military?
So it's definitely a military vessel. You're able to determine that at a glance. And I'll have you do a roll in a minute, but without rolling anything, what you're aware of is there are stories of ships from the time of the collapse that survived by making eldritch deals, potentially with beings not that different than the one you and Cigna made your deals with. But the way these ships operate, what happened was they were overwhelmed by the raiders who were destroying everything, and they made deals that allowed them to survive. So now these ships prowl the waters, hunting, and specifically hunting for crew to replace the crew that they lose. And it's an offer you can't refuse type of situation if they catch you. So the fact that the ship is bearing down on you at unnatural speed it's not great news.
Okay, so he would probably call out to the rest of the crew, and probably click his earpiece as well, be like, "Prepare for combat. If this thing catches up to us, it could be dangerous. I'll take front line if they don't seem to fight, but make sure we get out of the way as fast as possible, folks."
I'm immediately going to respond. Listen, I don't care what the fuck's going on. We got a big fucking problem down here.
The fuck you mean we got a big problem? All you got down there is our shipment. Oh, fuck me. You didn't, did you?
The shipment's the fucking problem, okay?
Does Marina hear this?
You would
No,
hear half of
actually,
it.
She's next to Ace.
you're getting
I
Ace's
can hear
back.
half of it.
Please don't tell me you opened the box. Please don't tell me you opened the box.
All right, I won't.
Marina has really high passive perception, so you're hearing Ace say this.
Yeah, Marina's going to panic and how far can this go? Not that. Range. I'm going to race down to where the container is, and I am going to just get in sight of Locke And dissonance whisper him.
Okay, wisdom saving throw for luck.
Good lord.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay.
I have to protect my
What kind of
box.
saving throw again?
Wisdom saving throw.
yeah.
Marina, you'll
Yep.
have to tell us what the DC is.
That will be
Bottom left of the sheet.
13.
Okay. Does a natural 20 beat it?
Yes.
Yeah, I really hope so.
The most useless natural 20 of all time.
Just no whispers is a lot of damage. That's actually a pretty good nat 20 to get.
Mhm.
So the hold is sectioned off, and the captain was doing something in another section. So the door slams open. He's heard all the commotion above, and he's going to look at you two, sort of starting to square up with one another, and he's going to say, "What's all this? Get above!" And he's going to grab you and just unceremoniously shove you in the direction of above.
Listen,
And
boss, I'm telling you, when this is over, we got to come back down here. Everybody, we need to find out whose fucking idea this was. There's something wrong with the fucking shipment.
so at this point, he's pushed you up to where Marina is, and he's just going to grab the two of you and smack your heads together, and he's going to say, "Up top now."
Right. Fuck.
And as he's sort of all but dragging you up top with him, he's going to start shouting orders to the crew. He seems to be aware of what happened he seems to be aware of the situation overall. You're not sure exactly how, but Ace, your knowledge of this person, it doesn't surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know exactly what his magical ability is, but you know that he's more than just a burly pirate.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Ace probably
moving
gonna be
among
barking out orders too to the rest of the crew, making sure everything is as smooth as possible.
Exactly. He's examining the sails. He's giving specific orders to some of the deckhands to trim the sails specifically to catch more wind and gain more speed.
Mm-hmm.
He's also shouting out general orders like haul your wind and hold your water, which you all know is sort of pirate speak for keep your mouth shut and don't piss yourself, don't panic. And basically doing everything he can to encourage everybody to do everything they can to get the ship moving faster.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's standing there, he's going to clap his hands and recite a few words, and the wind is going to pick up suddenly, and the ship is suddenly moving much faster than it was. And now this other ship is still approaching, but they're not closing the distance as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Signa, you are the one who's, as far as we know, still the closest to the aft of your ship. Is there anything you want to try to do? You're at a distance where if you tried to make any kind of ranged attack, you'd be doing so at penalty. But if you want to try to do something to scare them off or do some damage to their ship or whatever, you're welcome to make the attempt.
So I am going to. It's penalty because of the range. Well, I live too far away, right? Not too close.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna burn a sorcery point to add distance spell, and at that point, I'm going to cast. I'm going to cast Mirror Image. And I'm just going to show 3 cloaked, slightly ominous elves floating above the water in front of this ship and trying to sort of intimidate them.
All right. So when you do this, you see several people. You can't see them clearly. They're not much more than outlines at this point, but you can see casters on that ship throwing fireballs and things at the cloaked forms. And it does seem to serve as something of a distraction. They're slowing down to engage whatever's just appeared in front of them. And Ace, you're watching this happen. Are you going to be doing anything?
He would probably be, considering the fact they just slowed down at this point, he would probably be, walking over to Locke, most likely, helping him with whatever is that Locke's trying to do, and he's just gonna go, "All right, little munchkin, what the fuck did you do?"
Listen, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with the fucking shipment. When this is all over, everybody down to the fucking hold.
Is it on fire? Is it dying? I hope it's not something that can die.
It's
Is it
neither on fire nor is it dying. I appreciate the lack of confidence. Okay.
Look, the last time that we had a problem with the shipment, it was 2 of your bombs together inside of whatever the hell things it was down there's throat.
Listen, that was not my fault, okay?
You shoved your bombs down its throat. It was a rat, man. It was a rat. We had like 5 boxes of cargo. It was a rat.
Son of a bitch stole my food, okay? I said it. Son of a bitch stole my food, all right?
Jesus.
I like my rat cooked from the inside, okay? I actually have a quick question about the ship itself. Does the ship have any offensive capabilities? Are there ballista mounted? I'm assuming there's no cannons.
The ship is built for speed, and the offensive capabilities are all with the crew, and it's all magical stuff. And that's a pretty common arrangement. The ships of this time, they're more geared for combat through either magical or ranged combat, or through throwing grapnels across and just engaging in melee. So as you two are having this conversation, you're going to notice suddenly this ominous presence over you. And it's Captain Gorm again going, "Will you two get to doing something useful?"
I am. And I reach into my bag, and I'm going to actually pull out a couple of explosives. Well, I'm going to pull out one laughing gas bomb and an incendiary bomb. And I'm actually going to hand the captain the incendiary bomb, and I'm going to hand Ace the laughing gas bomb. So when you throw this, they're going to have to make a DC 15 con save when it explodes, and that's in a 15-foot space. And if they fail the save, they fall prone in a fit of laughter for 1 minute. And damaging them doesn't undo this nerve agent. It's just, it goes until it's done.
Jeez. And
then the incendiary bomb that I gave the captain, when it goes off, it's napalm, basically. The entire space in a 15-foot area is engulfed in flames and persists until the start of their next turn. Flammable objects not being worn or carried on fire, and any creature that ends its turn in the area takes half damage. And the damage dice, the damage that you would roll for either of those is a D6.
Nice.
All right. So the captain is going to look at the bomb you've handed him, and he's just going to turn around, and he's going to almost baseball pitch it at the enemy ship. But while it's airborne, you're going to see he's casting again, and the thing just, as big and strong as he is, there's no way he threw it as far as it's going. So you're just watching this thing sail across, and something flashes up from the enemy ship, and the bomb just explodes over the open water. For a moment, there's where the burning liquid comes to rest on the water. For a moment, there's fire on the waves. And the enemy ship is going to begin to turn away. So they seem to be giving up on their pursuit. And you can see distinctly among the figures on the ship, there's one that's standing taller than the others. They're close enough now that you can see that most of them are hunched and have a generally miserable look about them. But this one figure is standing very tall, very certain, and just a very lean, sturdy-looking figure. And across the water, you're going to hear a voice say, "Next time, we are very patient." And with that, the ship is turning away from you. Now, Ace, you are still holding the bomb that Locke handed you. Whether you want to hang on to it for future use or hand it back is going to be up to you. Or between you and Locke, I should say.
It's just don't look at the bomb that Locke gave him and just go, this could be funny, and just pull it into his backpack.
All right.
A good one, yeah.
Better than fire.
So the immediate threat is passed, although you do notice that the captain has kept his wind spell going. Marina, what are you doing at this point?
I am immediately going to go check out my crate that I'm supposed to watch over and deliver.
All right. So what you find is that while Locke did open it, he didn't disrupt it. So
Mm-hmm.
the spell on the person inside is still active, so they are still okay and in stasis.
Okay, I'm going to cast mending and fix up the box.
Okay.
Make it a little tougher.
So you do that, and Locke and Ace, are you having a conversation with just the captain, or are you including most of the crew in this? What are you all doing?
I would start talking to the captain first. Most of the crew, I assume, don't particularly need to know, especially if the captain is trying to not ask questions or anything. Probably the rest of the crew don't want to ask questions too, so he's just gonna like look at the captain and be like, so, Captain, you know what's going on down there?
So the captain is going to say, not really, and I didn't want to. And he's going to signal the two of you to move to the back of the ship, which is away from most of the crew, but close enough for Cigna to overhear if Cigna wants to. So the question is Cigna moving away from this conversation? Or is Cigna obviously showing interest? Or is Cigna just sort of casually hanging around and eavesdropping?
Signa is definitely trying to shuffle closer to hear this conversation. We'll see. Thank you.
All right. So go ahead and give us a perception check.
It's going to be a natural one.
Okay. So as you're trying to subtly shuffle over to hear this conversation, you're not looking directly where you're going because you don't want to attract attention. And you manage to run directly into this 300-pound orc who is the captain. And he's just going to kind of grab you essentially by your collar and set you down next to the others. And he's going to say, okay, go ahead, Locke. Tell me what you need to tell me.
Listen, bud. I know we weren't supposed to, but you know me. I don't like not knowing what's going on inside the ship.
Tragically, yes, I do know you. Go on.
Long story short, I popped it open. And I don't know who decided to put this on us. I don't know what kind of bad luck we got, but that's a fucking person down there. And it's not just any person, it's an important person. I might even say a very important person to somebody. All right? And this is a real fucking problem. I don't want to be eaten by some gnoll. And I'm pretty sure none of the rest of the crew want to be eaten by some gnoll. But right now,
by gnolls louder. I think there are some people on the ship who didn't hear you.
I'm an outside friend. I'm sorry. I don't have inside voice.
All right, let's go check it out. And he's going to have the three of you accompany him down to the cargo hold. Now, would Marina still be down there?
Yes.
Okay. So the captain and these other three are going to come walking up, and the captain is not even going to bother with a crowbar or anything. He's just going to, with his giant mitt of a hand, he's just going to grab the box that you just mended and pry it open and just look at the cargo and then just slam it shut. And he's just going to say, fuck.
Well,
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
About
You know what
that.
Isisto slowly turned to
I can only
Marina.
do one character. I can only choose one person.
Isisto slowly turn to Marina and be like, "Why
Do
are
I
you
see
down
her
here?"
trying to do whatever it is that she's
Okay,
trying?
one at a time. One at a time. What's Ace doing?
He's looking at Marina and just going, "Why are you down here?"
You cut out. What?
Oh, he's essentially looking at you and just going, "Why are you down here?"
Because your goblin, the green guy, decided to open up the crate I'm supposed to be escorting.
Ah,
Oh, so this is your fault. Oh, great. I'm loving this.
So at this point, Captain Gorm is going to look at you and say, "Who is this?"
I am not sure. It's just part of the assignment my parents gave me.
So
I'm not exactly sure, so.
All right, so he's going to open the crate again, and he's
I-
going to just pretty unceremoniously grab the person inside and pull her out and just stand her up, and she's going to snap awake, and she's going to start with in a very regal tone. She's speaking common, but she's speaking it with a very affected accent. She's going to say, "What is the meaning of this? Who are you people?" And go on like that for some time.
Ace is
And
probably kind of step a little bit in front, knowing his 300-pound orc captain friend probably is not the best first sight for someone to have, and just put his hand, kind of put his hand for him, like, "It's okay, it's all right. We found you. We were on a mission to protect you. We're not quite sure who you are exactly. Don't mind my big friend here. He has a gentle heart, even though his hands aren't quite as gentle. Do you know who you are? Do you know your name?"
I'm Liliana of Troyanoa. And you know that to be a fairly prominent and powerful city. And Marina, you know that that's not where you came from with this person. So she's telling you she's not where you came from. She was apparent, maybe that was where her ultimate destination was, but that's not where you were told to deliver her to either. You were told to hand the crate off to someone else. So the best you can figure is you were supposed to either you were handing the crate off to someone else for them to smuggle her somewhere, whether they were taking her home or what, you have no idea.
Well, that's a bit of an issue here. We're currently on the open sea. I mean, we can put you back in the box so you can sleep the rest of your journey, or I mean, you can wander with us. That's really your choice if you want to. Do you know why you're? He looks at the box. Traveling?
I was put here against my will. I demand that you put into the nearest port and let me off the ship. I'm more than capable of making my own way from there.
So at this point, Signa is going to step forward and say, "That is truly an impressive demand to people who have no idea who you are. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to go back to sleep." And with that, Signa's going to cast the sleep spell.
All right. So she goes back to sleep. Gorm catches her and puts her back in the box.
Marina at this time will speak up and it's like, I don't know my parents' I don't know my parents' intentions with this noble woman, but I was just supposed to accompany this person apparently to wherever she needed to go.
Oh, that
So-
sounds like a right problem. So Captain, what are you thinking? We drop off at the nearest port, we continue our mission, get paid, pretend we didn't see nothing? What do we want to do here?
So Gorm is going to signal to the rest of you to essentially stay where you are. And he's specifically going to look at Locke and very firmly say, "Don't talk to the rest of the crew about this." Like the message is directed at all three of you, but he's looking directly at Locke as he's speaking. And he's going to signal to Ace to follow him. And he leads you back to his cabin. And there's ale on board the ship, but you know that he keeps a stash of stronger stuff in his cabin, and he's going to pour each of you a drink and just kind of sit down across from you at his desk and just pass you one, and he's got one, and he's going to take a sip and say, all right, what do you think?
He takes a sip as well, and he goes, well, if we drop off near at nearest port, there could be a little bit of an issue with that. We don't get to where we need to go. We don't get our money. If we do take the person to where it needs to go, I mean, we get paid still. We just pretend we don't know jack shit when we keep locked down below deck the entire interaction, or further below deck, maybe in the water potentially, but we'll see about that. Not sure what we should do about the Triton girl, though.
Considered tossing her overboard? I mean, she's a Triton. She can breathe underwater.
It's true.
All right.
Even if she can't, my gods are getting hot.
Wait, is everyone currently in this little discussion?
No, it's just Ace
Okay.
and the captain.
I was like, I will interrupt that.
Okay.
All right. So the captain is going to thank you, Ace, for your counsel, and then he's going to dismiss you and ask you to send in Marina.
Mm-hmm. He'll drink it and then head down and send in Marina.
All right. Marina, do you go in when you're summoned?
Marina is going to glare at Locke for a moment. It's like, well, I hope that just like where I'm from, you listen to authorities. And she's gonna leave.
I got this job by not listening to the authorities. Thank you very fucking much. Okay? And don't you be glaring at me, young lady, all right? I'm not the one brought this fucking bad juju on the ship right here, okay?
It's not like it was my choice. I'm just here for the adventure. She's gonna stick her tongue out and continue walking to the captain.
All right. So when you enter the captain's quarters, he's sat at his desk and he gestures for you to sit across from him. There's an empty cup that even from just sitting down near it, you can smell that it had some kind of alcohol in it. There's a jug on the desk, and the captain has a cup in his hand. And he's going to look at the jug, look at you, and then take a drink without offering you anything. And he's just going to say, do you want to explain what's going on here? Why there's a princess possibly on my ship?
Well, I don't exactly know. I'm simply here on the orders of my parents. They told me to go on the Morning Star with this crate that apparently contains a person of nobility. So, yeah, I really hope this isn't too much of an issue. It's not something that I can exactly control.
So here's the problem I have. We're headed to the port of Sargasia. That was our original course. That is not particularly close to Troia Noah, and we're not particularly close to Sargasia yet. That princess has ordered me to put into the nearest port and let her out, meaning if I don't do that, I run the risk of starting an international incident, which frankly, I don't care if all of your kingdoms burn each other to the ground. I'd be happy digging through the ashes for loose change. The problem is I'll be in trouble with everybody. So what do you suggest we do?
I'm not too sure. I mean, if you listen to that princess, you'll have another issue with my royalty family as well. Because I was given the orders to specifically deliver her to the destination she needed to go to, not the one she is from. So that kind of, I believe the adventurers from above call it screws you over. I think that's how it goes. Usually in situations like this, I recall people tend to drink a bit more to calm the stress of it all.
So as you're talking, he's tapping on his desk, and just a little too late, you're going to realize that he was tapping out a specific rhythm at a specific spot on the desk. And just like a band of iron is going to wrap around from nowhere, securing you to the chair. And he's going to smile at you and say, well, if we have trouble with your family, we have their princess as a hostage. And he's going to summon some of his crew to disarm you and remove any spell components while you're restrained.
Dang it.
And he's going to very casually emerge from his cabin, and he will give the crew members instructions to that absolutely no harm is to come to you, but you're not going anywhere. And he's going to approach Ace, Locke, and Signa, and he's going to say, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put into the nearest port, which I believe is the port of Lestroy, and we're going to go ahead and let the noble lady off. We'll find an embassy or whatever they have there to let her go safely. Then we need to find some kind of embassy from that fish person we hired for some reason from their family, so we can negotiate her release without us all getting fed to her cousins. Sound good, everybody?
Sounds like a plan. And if we find any barbarian gnolls, we'll feed them the box.
Yeah.
Or
You
bomb.
do that. You do that.
You got more than enough bombs, ain't that right, Locke?
I'll be far enough away where it won't matter. But sure, I got enough.
I'm fine with this
So
plan.
just to double check, I can't cast any spells whatsoever.
So you've been sort of unceremoniously seized. You were restrained, so you couldn't cast anything that had a somatic component. You couldn't cast anything that had a material component because, one, you couldn't get to it, and two, those have been removed from you. If there's anything that has only a verbal component, you could cast it. The question of whether that would be a good idea to attempt or not is entirely up to you.
Okay.
And you are not kept restrained for a long period of time. Once they're satisfied they've relieved you of any weapons or spell components, you are escorted essentially to the brig, which is not pleasant, but it's manageable. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the captain opens the box again and pulls the princess back out. And as soon as she starts to talk, he just puts a big finger over her mouth and explains that they're going to do exactly what she wanted. So the putting into port in Lestroy goes pretty smoothly. You're able to find somebody to turn her over to, and everything seems to be going rather well until, as the ship pulls away from that port, and all of this, about a day has gone by, so you've rested and eaten, and any spell slots you've lost, anything like that, has been restored. I'm just condensing it because there's nothing that interesting happening here other than some conversations and this Princess Liliana, who you unknowingly had on board, being sent away. As you pull away from the port, so Ace, you being the one with the highest passive perception out of the remaining group, you're going to be the one who notices that there is a ship shadowing you, a larger ship of the similar design to your own. And almost as soon as you notice that there's one, you're going to notice that there's another one on the other side, and they're basically coming along on opposite sides of you. And they're really close now. There's been some mist on the seas, and they were using that as cover. what do you do?
He's probably grab Locke's shoulder, and he's also going like, "Hey, Captain, we got looks like yet another problem."
So the captain is going to begin shouting orders as he did before.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, the other ships are keeping pace with you, and they do start to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw grapnel lines across. And what you realize very quickly with both ships is that there are a lot more of them on each of these ships than there are of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be pretty well outfitted and equipped. And you recognize that they're in almost uniforms. Not quite a military uniform, but they're wearing similar colors and badges and things.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to have ranks and so forth. These aren't some disorganized pirate crew.
Seeing the
captain-
very obvious danger, he's probably gonna go, "All right, crew, slow it down. We ain't escaping that shit."
So the captain is going to give an order to stand down. If
Mm-hmm.
anybody wants to try to fight anyway, you can. Mel, that doesn't apply to Marina because you're still in the brig, but to the three who are still up top. So we'll start with Signa. Are you doing anything, or are you following the captain's order?
Signa's just going to be following the captain's orders for now.
Okay. Locke, same question.
I'm actually going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to motion to Load to go find a spot and hide himself. He can kind of collapse into what looks like just a barrel in the hold.
Okay.
And I want to take and try to, because I have a pretty good sense being a career criminal. I have a pretty good sense we're about to be arrested for something, aren't we?
It definitely seems that way.
I'm gonna try and like swallow one of my reagents so that, you know, when we do finally make our way back in, when we do find ourselves in prison, I might have a chance of getting ourselves out of it.
What is a reagent? I'm not familiar with that.
So I have the explosives I have aren't like cannon fuse and explosion. They're all chemical reactions. They're binary chemical reactions. The reagents that I have 3 reagents that I can use to prime an explosive to make it more powerful. And those are the only things that I figure are small enough to fit down my throat because all my explosives are the size of an apple.
Okay. All right. So you do that. At some point, there'll be a Constitution saving throw with interesting implications.
I'm hoping to throw it up at some point.
All right. And I believe that just leaves Ace.
Ace probably he'd be looking around. He probably knows this procedure as of doing that, so he's gonna make sure all of his crew is like not picking up weapons or anything like that, as he doesn't want any of them to die, motioning to the captain that he kind of understands what's about to happen. Just making sure everything is kind of smooth, talking to the folk coming down across the gap lines, just like, hey, you know, we're good, it's all good, no weapons, you know.
So I would like Signa to actually be doing something aside from just following orders, if that's still an option.
Okay. What do you have in mind?
I would like her to slowly make her way to the far side, away from the approaching ship, and subtly just slip off the ship and into the water.
All right. So Signa's trying to slip off the ship and escape.
Yep.
All right. So go ahead and make a stealth check.
So that is going to be an unnatural 20.
All right. Well, tragically, one of the lookouts on one of the other ships rolled a 20. So as you slip into the water, like some sort of sea creature disappearing into the night, you feel a noose catch around your ankle and haul you back up in a rather undignified fashion onto the other ship.
Damn it.
Catch of the day.
We found a fish.
And the crew of this ship are mostly orcs. And now that they're closer, you recognize that the uniform they're wearing is of Sargasia, which is where you were supposed to be delivering your cargo to. And the people of Sargasia are mostly orcs. And the apparent leader is a particularly large and brutish orc. Looks like he has some ogre heritage to him. And so Captain Gorm has already dropped his sword belt. He's just approaching with his hands up, just going like, look, I do understand what this is about. I know we were supposed to deliver a cargo, and as he's talking, this other orc is just going to crack him in the face and knock him down to the deck, which you've seen Captain Gorm fight, and you've never seen anybody drop him like that.
Jesus Christ.
So he's going to shout to the crew in general, you all know the penalties for theft, and you're all going to be unceremoniously taken aboard the enemy ships and into their brigs. And this does include Marina. Your status as a captive on this ship doesn't seem to mean much to them.
So they won't take me, or
They would.
Yeah, they take you.
they would. Okay.
Yeah, they take you. And so you're shuffled. So in Marina, in your case, you go from one brig to another larger, more crowded brig because it's got the crew of the ship you were on stuffed into it.
Would I be able to hear everything going on before they get to me, by chance?
You have really high passive perception, so you're not hearing it
Yeah.
word for word, but you would have a general idea of what's going on.
Just something's going on. Okay. I am going to wild shape into a cat.
Okay. So you wild shape into a
And
cat, and
just
what are you
sneak
gonna do?
about. I'm just gonna sneak about and try to follow them from a distance. That way I'm not in a brig, on the other ship. If I
Alright.
have to, I'll even find a mouse and carry it.
All right.
A cat.
So a very large hand grabs you in your cat form and just kind of picks you up and looks at you and shouts, "Did your character speak Orcish by any chance?"
Sadly, no, just goblin and elf.
So you're going to hear him shouting something to his crewmates, and they're just going to kind of do one of these gestures, just a come along gesture. So he carries you with him to the other ship and just sets you down on the deck.
Just gonna stretch, do all the cat things, clean myself, and
Make a performance check.
Be the best cat that
fine.
you can be.
It's fine.
Or
No,
the worst cat you can be.
I don't like these dice at all.
That's an
That's
8.
an 8. Spitting out the mouse I had. Dying.
All right, so you go to stretch and groom yourself and do everything else cats do, and you somehow manage to fall off of the barrel you're standing on. And so these orcs just kind of stare at you and stare at each other, and then they just kind of shrug because, as far as they know, you're a cat.
Yep. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just a cat. Doing cat things.
Dunk.
All right, so the ship sets sail, and you all have enough sense of direction from having been sailors for a bit, and in Marina's case, being from the ocean, to know that they're headed toward the port of Sargasia. It takes a couple of days to get there from where you are, and the conditions aren't especially pleasant. Marina, are you going to stay in wild shape the whole time?
I'm gonna try to.
Okay.
If any, at least, yeah, I would try to stay wild shaped the entire time.
All right. As far as I know, there's nothing that
Yep.
stops you from staying in wild shape indefinitely.
I
If anybody knows
believe it
different.
lasts for about an hour, and you can
Oh,
use it
okay.
twice
Yeah.
per long rest. I
Oh,
believe.
okay. So yeah,
So I would have to somehow hide.
Twice
For
per
a
short
bit.
rest. Yeah.
Mm.
So you would have to hide at some point.
all right.
Yeah.
So you're on an unfamiliar ship, and the people you're hiding from, it's their ship. So you're going to be making a stealth check at disadvantage.
Whiskers, I thought you was a cat.
Oh, that's not good. These are not good rolls. That's a 5.
All right. So
I do not like this at all.
all right. So you find a nice pile of blankets to curl up in that don't look like they've been disturbed, and it seems like the perfect place to not only come out of wild shape but take the rest you need to get your wild shapes back. And you fall asleep. And after a couple of hours, when it's time for one of the shifts of the crew to go to sleep, they come by and collect their blankets for the night and uncover you asleep among them. And which is how you come to
that's fun.
find, yeah, you come to find yourself rather unceremoniously thrown in the brig. And something they put,
Yay.
yeah, and they
Well,
put a collar on you that inhibits your magical abilities.
Effective.
This time.
So at length, the ship does make it into port, and you are unceremoniously offloaded and escorted to a bleak, cold stone structure that overlooks the bay. It takes you a little bit of time to get shuffled in and get sorted out, but this is a prison that is about as unpleasant as you would imagine any prison to be. You're put into cells all relatively near to each other, and I don't want to get into too much graphic detail, but conditions are crowded, they're unpleasant, the food is bad, everything you would expect. So once you're in this environment and have a chance to start sorting yourselves out, what are you all going to be doing? We'll start with Locke.
I can see everybody, right?
You're able to interact with people, and they lock
No.
everybody down at night, but during the day you have some freedom to move around.
Right. First chance I get, I'm gonna find a nice dark corner where it's hard to see me at least, and I'm gonna hork up that reagent that I had tried to smuggle in.
Okay, so Constitution check. While that's going on, I should note that the good news is that Marina's collar has been removed. The bad news is those of you who are magic users, you realize there's something going on with this place that interferes with your magic, so you're not able to use any kind of magical ability.
Does that include class abilities?
What's that?
Does that
like
include
wild shape again?
class abilities?
What class ability do you have in mind, just so we're clear?
I would like to summon the Warlock of the Fathomless's Tentacle of the Deep.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to do that here.
Okay.
What'd you roll there, Luck?
I'm assuming my 12.
Okay. All right, so you do manage to cough it up. It's not an entirely pleasant experience, but you are able to do that.
I assume that my Hexblade Warlock, being able to grab it from an interdimensional plane of existence, also doesn't work in this area?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, then I have a few questions. This is a little bit going backwards here.
Okay.
Does this anti-magic field have any effect on my infusions? As in, like, it cancels them out?
So the stuff that is chemical reactions will still work.
Those are my explosives.
Mhm.
I have 2 infusions from the artificer. I have a bag of holding, and my crossbow has a repeating shot. Really, the big question is, does it turn off the enchantment that turns my satchel into a bag of holding?
Your satchel has been confiscated, so is your crossbow.
Well, did it turn it from a bag of holding into a regular ass bag?
You don't have it anymore to know.
Well, my question is, what happens to the contents of a bag of holding when the enchantment is ended on it? Does it just regurgitate everything that's in it?
I would imagine so, but where I'm going with this is the bag of holding never made it in here with you. It was taken.
Oh, all right. All right, so okay. Because that would have been 16 explosives going off at the door.
My understanding is when you go to prison, they don't let you bring your backpack in with you without checking what's in it.
Well, I wasn't sure if they brought the bag and were just and just because it felt it, and just because they didn't reach in or anything like that, they were gonna check it after they got there or something.
Yeah, no such luck.
Okay, no, I just wanted to be sure, just in case I killed the party first session. So yeah, I'm just setting to work on the explosive. You can continue. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right, so what is Ace doing?
Ace would be looking around, and probably like making sure that his crew is, decent. Not much you can do inside of a prison setting, but he's also going to be checking, considering it's a bad environment. He's probably going to be checking some of the bars, see if they got rust on them, if it's damp at all, general areas around him, trying to see if there's any like flaws to the area that he can exploit.
You're not able to do anything about it right this very instant, but
Yeah.
you do notice that there are some settlement cracks in the building, and you do know that earthquakes happen in this area from time to time.
Okay.
And there's some damage that looks like that may have happened at some point and then been patched over, not adequately, but not perfectly.
Okay.
And what is Signa doing?
Signa's gonna back up and try to ram the door to the cell open.
All right. You do that, and it hurts, and it's a steel door, and it doesn't move.
God damn it. Okay, I have no magic, and I've dislocated my shoulder. I'm kind of done for the day. I'm gonna take a short rest. I need a nap.
Unfortunately, I don't do magic. I don't do medicine, so I'm like staring at you as you're holding your shoulder. I'm just like, what?
Marina will go to Signa. Wow, wrong character. Signa, and it's like, could I check your shoulder? If that's okay. I know I kind of put you guys in a dark spot. Well, I guess it's more your green friend. Either way, I could maybe help with your shoulder.
Oh, you got us into this mess. You can help a little bit. Signa clearly being very bitter about no longer having their magic, because that was the only thing that made them useful.
I don't have much abilities either. I mean, I can supposedly control water, but I don't think there's any water in this place, so. Do a medicine check. I don't like this dice at all whatsoever. That's a 15.
Okay.
Actually, not bad.
Where's my dice box?
She has yet to roll above a 10 on the dice.
Give me my dice box.
All right, so you're able to determine that the injury to Signa's shoulder isn't all that bad. This mostly just isn't a very physical person, so it hurts a whole bunch when something physical happens to them. Now, Ace, something I should mention is that you mentioned you were looking around to make sure the crew was okay.
Yeah.
A couple of things you're going to notice. The captain is not here, and about half of the crew aren't here either.
Interesting. So he's probably gonna sit next to Locke if he's in the same general area. He's probably gonna kind of in a lower tone, kind of say to him, "Have any ideas for getting out of here? Captain's not here. He took a pretty bad beating. It looks like half the crew's not here. I assume they're either in a different cell block or different area entirely. Looks like we're in decently bad situation as is."
You see me in the midst of making the most makeshift looking it is nowhere near as elegant as what I've been doing. But you know,
Put some
I
shit
remember
together, sticks in there.
literally like just letting it dry like that. I'm working on it right now. I can only get one use out of this. We're gonna need something to pick. We're gonna need something to pick the locks with.
If you can find me something small, I can probably do it. Been picking locks since I was like 15.
Good. So yeah, I'm actually kind of trying to figure out a good way to get something together. When they bring us food, what do they bring it in? Like, is it a metal? Is it like a metal plate bowl, something like that, or?
When you get food, it's in a commissary situation, and it's in a real simple wooden bowl with a wooden spoon, and you're not able to take either back out with you.
Splinters aren't exactly going to be. All right. Well, first things first, we get ourselves out, and then we go find our shit, because right now, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get much else out of this place right now.
Can't take a horde out. To a couple sneakers will work fairly well. I don't know how good you are at sneaking, my explosive friend, but
I'm pretty good at sneaking. Thank you very fucking much.
yeah, like the time that you tried sneaking my shit out of my bag, huh?
Yeah, well, it was luck. You lifted it up just as I put my hand in there, and it was bad luck on my part, and I should have aimed the bomb a little bit higher. So, if I look around a little bit more intensely, do I find any pieces of the bars that are coming off in slivers? Like, are the bars sort of like in bad enough shape where, like, somebody's tried to do something with them and they're just really badly off somehow?
So the answer to your question is no. What you do find when you look around is that there are some bits of clothing and what look like personal effects that have been left behind here, as if somebody left in a hurry or was taken away without any notice.
Oh, I definitely go through the personal effects just in case something
Right.
slipped.
So it's not any. So the personal effects, what I mean is just like random clothing left behind and no one bothered to pick it up. What you do find under your lice-infested straw mattress is a shiv, which has the stats of a dagger for game purposes.
Oh,
Could be useful.
We can use this. All right, so where the lock is on mine and Ace's cell, are the four of us in the same cell?
You and a couple of others are all in the same cell.
Okay. Is there any way for any of us to reach around and play with the lock to try and pick it with this shiv?
So when you start doing that, one of your other cellmates immediately tells you to stop. If you do that, they'll take all of you next.
Hmm.
Fine. This is going to be great.
Ace
Okay.
would probably try taking it from you, just like gentle, like, here you go, take it.
I mean, at this point, I'm going to give it to you because you're probably going to be the best off with it.
Mm.
And okay, so this is how we're going to get out of here then. I'm going to take the quiet bomb that I have taken the time to build and put a reagent dice into.
Uh-huh.
And I am going to use that to blow the door open.
Oh my god, what?
There's no other way I'm getting out of this prison, and I ain't staying longer than I have to.
Before you do that,
I really wish I can like control water at this point. It's like, no, just
before
let's
you nuke the
not.
fucking door off its hinges, I'll like put my hand on your shoulder and be like, I mean, there's the door we could nuke, or there's a couple of cement cracks. He's don't gesture to the very badly fixed up stuff. I assume on probably near the wall, more or less, because the shape of the building. So we could potentially nuke that. Would I, roughly speaking, know generally how high up we are? I'm assuming it's a stacked prison rather than a elongated prison.
So you're not that high up in terms of the prison itself. The problem is where the wall leads out to is essentially a sheer cliff down into the bay.
Oof.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, we can jump off.
It's fine. It's
As
fine.
you all-
Don't worry about it.
As you all are talking,
Mhm.
you notice some commotion outside, and you see that one of the prisoners has gotten into some kind of altercation with one of the guards. The guard will strike the prisoner with a short whip.
Mhm.
And when this happens, you see the prisoner immediately drop into some kind of convulsion, and they get dragged back to their cell. You notice that what the guards are all carrying are their whips, where it's not like a bull whip. It's a shorter cord whip. But when someone is struck with this, what you quickly notice is being struck with this causes somebody to go into a very painful convulsion.
Oof.
And then the back end of it is effective as so they can whip the handle around and use it as a club if that doesn't work. And something you witness very quickly is that the guards are extremely quick to use force on the prisoners here.
Okay. So yeah, Ace would be like
Yeah, I
kind of
think
looking at, huh?
I think we should blow up the wall and make a run for it.
The wall leads to a sheer drop.
I
Do we
could
know
help.
is there water at the bottom of the sheer drop?
There is.
I mean, we can all swim, right? We're all pirates. Surely we've all learned how to swim by now.
It's the getting
I
down
mean,
there. That's
I'm
the hard
naturally
part.
from the sea, so
So we're
we-
just expect there not to be rocks in the water that might turn us into, I don't know, just a floating beanbag out in the water.
Look, my friend, I learned something very important from the eldritch gods that I serve. And that is, if we were to fall on the rocks, it would be our time, for the sea is always right. That being said, I also assure you that my gods would never allow there to be rocks at the bottom of a sheer drop, because I am here, and I am clearly the most important.
I'm really glad.
Right, I'll believe that if that ever happens. So for the purposes of, he's gonna like kind of press his head against the bars at the window and be like, not dying. We can either blow up the wall and shimmy our way out, but that also removes our abilities to get our weapons, our items, his bag of very fun tools, various other things, but we could potentially come back with our magic. Or we can blow up the door and then sneak our way through this entire compound of very vicious orcs who seem to have a passion for beating people to death. Which I don't know about you two, but we can do that. You two are less than sneaky, I would imagine.
All right, well, I guess we're just gonna have to hope to the eldritch gods that there's no fucking rocks at the bottom of this fucking thing.
So as you're talking, the guard comes to the door and unlocks it. They kind of push past you. Your cellmates they look pretty ragged.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't quite eaten enough. They might have been on the wrong end of a beating. And they immediately cower away as the guards approach. And the guards just pretty much unceremoniously grab them and start hauling them out without saying anything.
Marina will look out of curiosity.
Okay.
Just watch.
You could always fake dying.
I think they would throw you into a pool with rocks at that point.
Also, they have the ability to create magic canceling collars. Something tells me that they're going to detect a few people playing dead.
Yeah. I'm sure we can figure out some kind of way.
We
I
can wait
mean,
until
if there's
night.
a will, there's a way.
We can wait until night, see if the guards slow down in their pace. They have to sleep at some point. Your bomb can go off. I assume it's one of the not loud ones. That was a
Yeah.
bundle of shit, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it's not a loud one. It's only gonna let off a little thump.
Oh, good.
It's still got some thump to it, if you get what I mean.
As long as the door doesn't fly over the edge and make a very loud clattering sound, I'm sure we'll be fine, my good friend. But then we can sneak around. Maybe Jimmy open her door. Whew.
All right. So it's getting later as all of this is going on, and it finally does, in fact, get to be lights out in the prison. And it's made abundantly clear to you by the guards that when they say lights out, they are watching and they do mean it.
Oof.
And the other thing you pick up from the conversations from the nearby cells, because there's no real privacy here, is that what happens to people in this prison if they stay is they get sent off to the mines. And when people get sent off to the mines, they don't make it back. So it gets to be nightfall. It gets to be lights out. Are you guys staying up and trying to observe what's going on with the guards, or are you actually trying to rest? What are you doing?
Marina would be observant,
Okay.
just out of sheer curiosity.
Ace would
And
probably
she's
be
in an unknown area, so she would stay awake.
Ace would probably be
Okay.
laying down and just like kind of faking sleeping, kind of like listening, seeing when things slow down, basically.
So with Ace faking sleeping, I'm actually going to just be seated at the wall near Ace, watching, because I have dark vision, and I can at least feed him what information I can see from my spot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what is Signa doing?
Signa is going to be pretending to meditate through all of this. However, every once in a while throughout, absolutely will catch her snoring as she just dozes off.
All right. So at one point you doze off and you find yourself at the bottom of the ocean, and a voice that just seems to come from all around you says, "We have no patience for your failure. This is the last time we're going to help you. Don't get yourself in trouble again."
Oh no.
That's ominous.
Oh no.
And you're going to snap awake to a violent earthquake shaking the prison to the point that there's dust falling from the ceiling. And you're going to notice that your cell doors are rattling to the point that, to your question earlier, Locke, that it looked like anybody had tried to break through. This is old iron, and several of the bars are snapping now.
Ooh.
And so there's a lot of commotion. Marina, you had noticed that the guards were making regular rounds, but they're also very rattled by this experience, and they're trying to make sure things are secure in the prison. And with such high, even with your passive perception, even with making checks, you quickly gather things are absolutely not secure in the prison. You can hear a lot of commotion going on.
Nice.
And
This is so fucking.
What those of you who are magic users realize is that you have regained your ability to use magic. You don't have components on you,
Ooh,
but you have
okay.
regained your ability to
Okay.
cast.
Nice.
Yeah, Signa is just cackling at this. I did that! Praise be to the great old ones!
Well, that was your
So,
god. Good job.
so what are you going to do?
Marina is going to look toward the commotion outside the cell and then toward the window. And it's like, well, if we want, we can still go out to sea. If you guys will allow me, I could maybe help. I'm pretty good at ocean things. I could maybe get the water close enough to us we can get into it without the rocks hitting us. And I could maybe do a bubble as well. That way no one drowns. I don't. From what I've observed, I don't think pirates can breathe underwater.
Unfortunately, I don't think we are able to. Two of you might be able to go out that way. Me and Locke might go out the front here. Both of you two are sea folk, so you should be able to make it. Or he kind of like looks at Signa. Mostly sea folk. I don't actually. Weird sea-loving god creature. Anyways, you two can have fun jumping out the window into a sheer cliff all the way down into an ocean, which supposedly has no rocks, and I guess you could fly if you have that ability. Yeah, we're gonna get going this way. So, Locke, you wanna break these bars?
Or I could melt them. Well, I can make them heat up.
Looking at these doors, it looks like they're ready to fall off as it is. I'm pretty sure what I've got in my hand can take care of me.
Hmm,
Shall we then?
indeed.
I don't know if it's a good idea to let off an explosion in a small space. You know?
Well, basically cover your ears and step back as far as you can. It's gonna need about 10 feet. And I step back all the way to the back of the cell.
Is
I'm
the
not
cell
sure how
even
big the
10
cell-
feet?
No.
Ace be like, I have total faith in his explosive capabilities. I just have no faith that he's going to actually survive this. And he's just gonna like raise up the fucking bed wherever the fuck we're laying on as like cover.
Okay.
And I'm gonna toss the explosive at the door.
All right. So since you are trying to use your filthy straw mattresses for cover, I'm going to say everybody make a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Will do. Wow. On the dice, I got a natural 20 and a natural 1.
Hey.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I got a 13.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Whew.
All right. So
I'm going
no.
to use my hacked feature to add a d4 to that in an attempt to bring it up.
yeah, it's not going to
Okay.
do anything for you. All right. So
I rolled a 1.
God, those dice.
So Ace
Your
and
gods
Marina,
are really not having it right now.
Ace and Marina, you're fine. Locke and Signa, you're each going to take 6 piercing damage from basically shrapnel flying from this explosion.
Marina's gonna look at the straw bed and it's like, oh, so that's a curious thing. It worked.
As I said, total
Mhm.
faith in his ability. Stares at his bloody, stabbed body. Total
Do
faith.
you want me to heal you? If you let me, green
Sure.
goblin.
I'm just ecstatic. We're out.
Right. And if anybody wants to, you can pick up one of the broken bars to use either as a club or as a shiv, and we'll just again stat it as either a club or a dagger. It's basically a difference of 1d4 bludgeoning or 1d4 piercing with finesse property. And you've definitely attracted. Go ahead.
Oh no, you keep going.
Okay. So, who really didn't appreciate all of this was the guard who was walking by as all of this happened. And it's kind of a catwalk that goes around the blocks, and he gets blasted into the middle of that. So he faces a rather steep drop that doesn't go well for him.
Can I firebolt him?
Watching
Sure,
him fall
so-
to his death. Firebolt, you son of a bitch.
Sure. So I'm not even going to make you roll for that. You're just aiming generally down at this person who's falling, and just as he hits the ground, a ball of fire catches up with him and finishes what the fall and the shrapnel from the explosion didn't do.
Yeah,
Okay,
after that.
Jesus.
The Marina healing me, does that bring me back up to full, or?
I believe it's healing word you'd be using.
Yeah.
So you get
6.
6?
Yeah.
Yep.
heals your
All right,
stat
so-
wounds.
Marina and Signa, as you finish your respective spells, your connection to your magic just abruptly cuts off. So you're back to not having magic again.
I would probably have spawned my my hexblade weapon, which, considering I have the dual wielder feat, I have a longsword as my primary weapon, and then the shiv as my secondary at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I've picked up whatever broken bar I can find, because that's all I got.
All right. So what are you trying to do at this point?
Out the door and down?
I'm following you. I
Well,
can't see down here.
It seems we can't use our abilities again, so don't really have a choice but to go through front door, I guess. So,
We're gonna have to go after this really quiet, like.
are you able to do that, Green Goblin?
Hey.
It's just an observation that I've seen so far.
Everybody go ahead and give us a stealth check.
Will do.
Natural 20.
Oh my god.
Widely a
Natural
good roll.
2. I have a
Marina
plus
got
8.
a 14.
Plus 8. I rolled a fucking 2, of course.
That's too low for my axe magic to even help you at this point. It's basically just a bardic inspiration.
God.
Yeah, so I got a big fat natural 1.
Oh, that not even
That fucking
inspiration
number.
can't help with that.
All right, so you're making your way down the stairs, and you're not quite sure where your teammates have gone off to. You think they're around, and you turn around to make sure nobody's following you, and you keep moving and you just back directly into a guard who shouts back to your cell, and he's just standing there with his whip in his hand. So what do, Locke?
Poor Locke.
Lock. Come on.
All right, I'm all by myself.
You don't know where your teammates are. You're pretty sure that Ace is somewhere very nearby because you don't see him, but you can hear him moving around close by. You're not sure about Marina and Signa.
Oh, I'm just really glad I found you. Man, this whole place is coming down. We gotta get the fuck out of here, and I'm gonna need some help. I'm not exactly a big guy. I'm not exactly a fast guy. We need to get out of here before the whole place comes down on our heads.
Make a deception check.
Give me that toy, man.
Please.
You got this.
It's a solid 14.
All right, so his stance is going to soften a little bit, and he's just going to say, look, everything's going to be fine. We have mages who are going to stabilize the building. Just get back to your cell. So while that's going on, we're just going to do this. I'm not going to roll initiative. We'll just do it in the reverse order, as it were. Marina, you're close by. You have a shiv if you want to use it. What do you want to do?
Yes, the princess stabbed the freaking guard. Wonderful. So I can't use any magic abilities?
No.
Okay. Cutting words count?
What?
No.
That's helpful.
Even your insults don't work on this man.
Right? No. She's.
You got this.
I guess she will. Just try to look around for the others, and it's like, oh, I've heard stories of adventurers having a little tough spot, but I wasn't thinking it'd be me. And she's going to try to cautiously, like, trying to fight the courage as she goes, and try to, just smack the guard in the back of the head.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack roll.
Hard as she could. At least try to.
And you're doing this with
Ow.
advantage because he's distracted.
Natural 20 on that one.
Yes.
And a 4, so it's 24.
All right. So you're rolling the d4 twice plus whatever your modifier is.
Be using your dex.
Yeah. That will be a 6.
Okay. All right. Sigda, you just watched this happen. You're hidden. You're nearby. What are you going to do?
I'm going to also try to punch this guard.
Okay. You have a shiv if you want to use it, or if you want to make an unarmed strike, that's up to you.
Oh, I have a shiv. Okay, yeah, I'll try to use that.
Okay.
Gonna be an 18.
That hits.
And what's the damage dice for the shiv? Sorry, I missed that.
1d4.
D4 plus dex.
So that's gonna be 4 damage.
Okay. And then that brings us to Ace.
Cool. He's gonna do a longsword main hand attack. And then a bonus action left hand. Because his teammate is next to him, if he hits with his longsword, he also does sneak attack damage. It's gonna be 18 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay. The longsword damage is going to be a hefty 14 damage.
All right, that's it. You've dispatched this guy.
Just see my friends like fucking jumping on him, bashing the crap out of him. I just go straight for the throat.
Marina's gonna check the guard, and it's like, is he okay?
Me just holding my
Should we
sword
help
with it embedded in his throat. I don't think he's gonna get back up from this, I'll be honest.
And Marina is going to, horrified at this point, just start going for the exit.
Wiping the blood off my weapon.
No.
And can Signa snag that whip? that the guard had?
You can.
I'm going to snag the whip that the guard had.
All right.
Is there anything else on this guard that might be handy to us?
You notice that he's wearing a badge.
That's it?
That's all you can see.
All right, so whatever he's wearing, I'm actually going to start stripping him, and I'm going to start throwing it at Ace. Stop putting this shit on right now. You're the one getting us out the fucking door. I'm going to start throwing all of
most of them are orcs, but sure, I can, you know what? Sure. All right, and so I'll start putting on the orcs. Probably excessively large clothing on him.
All right, so as soon as you get the shirt with the badge on, probably just
Mhm.
pulling it over your regular clothing because it is so much larger.
Yeah.
You're going to notice that you regain your connection to your magic.
Ooh. This allows me to use magic. That would be more useful on. He's don't look at the two of them. Don't pull off the badge. Crazy or princess? Princess. He's don't throw the badge at you.
Hey, it was my gods who got us out of here. I basically got us out of here single-handedly.
All right, so while this is all going on, you're going to hear a bunch of shouting in Orcish,
Mhm.
and you're sort of at the bottom of the stairs, and you're right by where it opens out into the mess hall, which is one of the areas you had to come through to get to your cell block. And you're going to notice there's quite a bit of commotion here. There's essentially a brawl that's broken out between prisoners and guards, and in some case between prisoners and each other.
Mhm.
But 3 guards are going to notice that you've got this guard downed, who you're now stripping and essentially looting. And they're going to head your way. And I would like everybody to roll initiative, please.
Will do. It's a 25.
Okay.
14 for Marina.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
28.
28. Okay. So, Locke, you're up first.
All right, all I've got is my trusty steel bar in my hand right now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my action to use the help action to give Ace advantage on his attack, and I'm going to use my bonus action to hide.
Okay.
Smart.
Okay. So you basically just step behind Ace, and just like you feel this pat on your back, Ace going like, "Yeah, you got this, buddy. You got it."
Nice, bud.
Aim for the knees. Aim for the knees.
This is going to bring us to Ace's turn.
Okay, there are 3 of them, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. He's going to, being his wonderful sneaky self, he is going to kind of move. So he's hitting whoever is the closest one to him. He's kind of going to effectively run up directly towards. And then he's going to take his main action and his bonus action to attack that specific dude.
Okay, so the first attack has advantage.
Okie dokie. With advantage, that is correct. So that's going to be another short sword attack. That's going to be a 15 to hit.
15 just hits.
Okay, so that's going to be 14 damage from that, plus sneak attack, which is 7, so 21 damage in total.
Okay,
Well, that's good, because my offhand attack would not fucking hit him, so it's just gonna run up, stab him, probably through the ribs, and just directly into him. Take his other hand and swipe towards one of the other orcs, kind of like, yeah, don't get close to me, as he pulls him out. And yeah, pretty much just backs up a little bit. And he's like, 1 down, 2 more to go, as he's pointing at the other 2. That'll be his
Marina,
turn.
you're up.
Marina, still kind of horrified of the situation. It's like, do we really have to kill them? And she's going to, oh, you're probably within range of her.
Probably.
Yeah, likely everyone's within 15 feet of me.
Hmm.
So we're not doing that. This is not my sorcerer. We're not going to make it friendly. So we're going to instead, she's going to say, it's like, I'm sorry, and she's going to gust of wind. Just a line of strong wind, 60 feet long and 10 feet wide from me toward the commotion and guards. And each creature that starts its turn in the line must succeed a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet away from me.
All right, what's the save?
The save is a 14.
They both succeed.
Of course they do.
Both will be like, I got this.
They both just lock their stances and brace themselves.
I think the only person wounded is Signa
Signa.
at the moment.
Signa. Yeah, I'll do. Just turn this one. 2 pages. Let's go. I will. Bonus. I'm gonna heal Signa. Bonus action healing word.
All right, so we're just going to go ahead and say it's the 6 damage for the sake of brevity. And Signa, you're up.
All right. I'm going to brandish the whip and try to hit an enemy with it.
All right, so go ahead and make an attack. You are proficient. It's a finesse weapon if you're wielding it as a whip.
All right, that's 16.
16 does hit.
Okay, so what does this thing do?
All right, so it doesn't hurt him much, but he drops to the ground in convulsions, and he is prone.
Grab him, kick him.
And it's going to be at this point, both Signa and Ace, you're going to realize, for reasons you're not quite sure of, you both have your magic back. At least for the moment.
Okay.
So the remaining guard who's up is going to go ahead and make an attack roll at Ace.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to really miss badly. And that's going to bring us back to Locke. Now, Locke, you had hidden behind Ace, who promptly ran off from where you were. So you're just kind of crouched in the spot where Ace was, but nobody's come after you yet. What are you doing?
Okay. So there's 1 dead guard and 1 prone guard currently, right?
And there's 1 still standing.
Okay. So I'm going to run up to... I'm not sure if I can do both, but I'm going to try and get the badges off of both the dead guard and the prone guard.
All right, so we'll say that's your action and your bonus action. Taking the badge off of the dead guard is no problem. He's not resisting. The prone guard is going to be a little bit harder because he's not just laying still. He's actually convulsing. So go ahead and we'll go ahead and call that a dexterity check. We'll go ahead and call it a sleight of hand check specifically.
Okay. That is a 22.
Yep, you managed to do it. You pluck the badge off him, so you've now got a badge in each hand.
All right. So you said that was my action and my bonus action?
If you want to hand one of the badges off to somebody, I'll say it's a free action.
Okay. Ace is right next to me, so I'm gonna definitely. I don't know. I'm sorry if this sticks in your ass, but I'm gonna just slap it right onto you.
Like, hit me in the thigh, just like,
I
there
love
you
it.
go, buddy.
and I've got the other coin in my hand right now because I can't very well turn around and throw it to anyone else in my party right now, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right. So you do that. So next up is going to be Ace.
Mm-hmm. So feel the badge on his thigh and just be like, odd place to put it, bar, right? There's no look, the convulsing one, just kind of shrug, and he'll go to the third one. Once again, running up to it, just being like, some kind of pirate theme statement I can't think of. He's going to very desperately try to stab him. God, that's gonna be a 13 to hit.
13 does not hit.
Yep, and then his offhand is 10, so that's yeah. Whoops.
Yeah,
That'd be a
where the badge pricked you, it's kind of messing with your gait. You're limping a little bit, and it's throwing off your swings. So that's going to bring us to Marina.
Marina is going to she's going to do her whispers to the last one.
The one who's still up. Okay.
Yeah,
So he
the
makes
one
a
that's still
wisdom
up.
save.
Yep, that is a 13.
All right, so he succeeds on his wisdom save, but I believe he still takes half damage from that. So go ahead and roll the damage and tell me what half is.
Rolling up or down?
Down.
Because he got a 9. Okay.
So 4 damage.
So 4 damage. And she'll just whisper, and it's like, I don't believe you belong here. Just so you know. I'm sorry. And that's it.
I'm
All right.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
So Signa, you're up, and for whatever reason right now, the thing that suppresses your magic isn't active. So you have the whip in your hand, but you can also, and you have a shiv, and you can also use magic, whatever you want to do.
Okay, then. So, there's that guard who's still prone, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna take the thing off of him that hopefully will allow me to perpetually keep my magic.
All right, so Locke already took that. Locke's holding that.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to burn 2 sorcery points to firebolt him with Quicken Spell, so it's only a bonus action.
Okay.
Prone guy, so I should get advantage on, I believe.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, the high was 17, so that definitely hits.
Okay.
Okay, that is 7 fire damage.
Okay.
And then the other guard's still up, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and then with my proper action, I'm going to whip him with the paralyzing whip thingy.
All right, so we'll go ahead and make your attack roll.
That's going to be a 19.
That definitely hits. Okay, so 15.
Really
And he fails his con save badly and just drops to the ground again in convulsions. So now it's their turn, and the one who was down fails his con save and is still down, and the first one is also still down. So that brings us back to the party. That brings us back to Locke.
Poor
All
dudes.
Yeah, they are about to be poor dudes. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to move up next to. I'm gonna move up next to Ace and Signa, and you're gonna see me take the bar that's in my hand, and I really hate doing it like this, but and I'm gonna smash it on the ground, and you're gonna hear just like loud boom as I cast Thunderwave at both of the prone guards, who
Okay.
actually have to make a con save.
All right. So since they're both prone, they're both rolling with disadvantage, I assume, since they can't get away from anything. And I've never actually seen this happen before, but both of those rolls came up with natural ones.
Oh my god.
So what's max damage from the Thunder Wave?
16.
That finishes both of them. So
Oh god.
yeah.
I feel kind of bad for them.
Don't feel bad for these motherfuckers. And I walk up and I grab the whip off of one, I grab the badge off the other one, and I flip it towards Signa so that we can make sure that everybody can use their stuff.
Keep it this way. These things are amazing.
All right. So ahead of you is a mess. Well, literally ahead of you is the mess hall, but I wasn't intending for a pun. It's tables have been flipped over. People are using benches as weapons and as barricades.
Quick thing before we continue. In the process, before we moved forward, because I can do this, I'm going to use one of my spell slots to sort of like cobble together a new Eldritch Cannon. And it's just going to be like bits and pieces of stuff and this little like spider bot.
Okay.
Yeah. And this one's going to be, I'm going to have this one crawl up onto Ace's shoulder. And this one's going to be spitting fire.
All right. So yeah, I'm picturing you grabbing just personal effects off of the guard, like a wallet, like pictures of their kids. Just like, you don't mind, do you? Okay, great. And somehow cobbling this together.
Take their thigh bone real quick.
Oh, anything.
And ahead of you is a full-on brawl between guards and prisoners, and it's hard to really tell who's getting the best of it. Guards are better armed and better equipped, but the prisoners are a lot more numerous. And it's ugly. So you can try to fight your way through this, or you can try to find a way around. It's up to you all.
Ace would be looking for way around.
I'm with Ace.
So kind of looking around, looking at both of you, and probably since the princess has a bit higher perception, of like look around for a way around, see if we can find some way to get our personal effects back. Probably to stick to the walls, see if you can get around the fights without one hitting into you.
Oh, I can just turn into a little critter.
There you go.
Easy enough. And she'll turn into a cat and try to maneuver about, try to find a quick but sneaky spot to exit for the team.
All right, so go ahead and give us a perception check.
I'm going to throw these dice. 14.
Okay, so that's enough. You notice there's a door probably into the kitchen that will that will get you past and out of it, and logically stuff has to come into the kitchen from somewhere else. So
okay,
you
and then
go ahead.
I was just going to say I quickly dart my way back and signal, like nod my head and say, oh, this way, and then dart back to the kitchen.
Cool.
Looks like she found a way.
I hope so.
So everybody, you don't have to roll high on this, but go ahead and everybody make a stealth check with advantage.
Will do. Don't give me a net one. 23.
17.
18.
24.
The one time we didn't need to be freaking high. So mad. So mad.
I think that was the
Alright.
first time your dice have gone above 10 this entire game.
All right, so you all make your way past the brawl, and the guards and the prisoners are mostly occupied with each other, so they're not too concerned about you. Although you do hear one guard say, "Hey, when did we get a cat?" And
He
as you make
immediately
your
gets
way,
decked by a prisoner.
pretty much.
True,
So,
true.
so as you make your way into the kitchen, you come upon a scene where a guard is being tackled by two prisoners who are putting kitchen knives to good use on him. You can walk past this scene without interfering, or you can interact with it. It is up to you all.
Ace definitely was
Everyone
happy.
would clearly see that Marina pauses in her little cat form.
He's just gonna pick you up by the sides and
Debating.
keep walking.
It's like, no.
Let's go.
I knew this would come in handy. The material components for invisibility is just some eyelashes. So Signa is just going to pluck some of their eyelashes and go, "For my next trick, I will disappear!" And then cast invisibility on themselves.
Okay, so yeah, this guard is in the process of being brutally stabbed to death. Somebody runs up and like, "Oh, thank God you're here!" To and you just yank one of his eyelashes out and disappear.
I just
What
see.
on earth? Ace legitimately has to pause for a moment watching that, just like, what?
Well, the cat, like, Princess just tilts her head and is like, what? What?
Onwards, like, go, Locke, go!
As we're leaving, I yell back, "Take the badge! You can use your magic!"
All right. So you make your way out into a broad open hallway, and there are a bunch of branching hallways that lead off of it. There's a badly injured guard leaning up against a wall, and you've got 3 directions you can take from here. It's not exactly clear where anything goes, though.
You'll put down Marina, look at the guard, and go, "Oi, which direction to our stuff?"
I'm not telling you anything. Go back to your cells.
You seem to be having a very bad day. Would you like me to make it worse?
Make an intimidation check.
Will do.
If it gives him advantage, a little pilot flame is coming out of that spider bot on his shoulder.
Okay.
I would definitely need that advantage if I can get it.
Mhm.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
All right. That's a 14.
All right. So for the moment, the guard is standing fast, but you notice he's not steady on his feet. So he's got his whip in his hand, but he's not in any condition to use it.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like, look, we don't really have to do anything. I could stab you in the leg, and trust me, that would make your day significantly worse. There's also 2 guys right back there who are currently stabbing your friend with a bunch of kitchen knives, and he just has eyelash pulled out. So I deeply suggest that you continue to have a good interaction with us, and maybe we can stop the guys from directly behind us from stabbing you painfully and probably gruesomely and for a very long period of time to death.
Take me with you.
All right.
Get me out of here.
Sure.
All right. So he directs you down one of the halls, and when he says take me with you, like he physically needs to lean on you.
Yeah.
To move along.
Ace would probably like
And-
put his massive arm around his shoulder and hold him.
As
Before
we're
we take the whip.
walking,
Drop the whip and take the
Okay.
badge.
Sorry. One at a time, please. Go ahead, Marina, please.
before Marina goes back into her form,
Mm-hmm.
She still in her cat form. She's just gonna trot up to Ace and the guard, and she's gonna quickly like rub against the guard's leg and cast Cure Wounds.
You can't cast
Okay.
Just
can't
heal
cast
him.
spells while you're in
Oh.
wild shape.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a cute idea.
Yep.
But she'll go back to her normal form.
Okay. So you do that, and you round a corner, and there's a door ahead of you, a heavy barred door with 2 guards standing in front of it, and more heavily armed and armored than the ones you've seen so far. Ace, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Will do. That's an 8.
Yeah, so this guy, the guy who's been leaning on you, shoves you down, and he shouts to the other 2 guards to basically get at you guys.
Are they
Oh,
wearing metal?
They're wearing full chainmail armor. They're going to go first this time, though, because they're getting a surprise round.
mhm.
So one of them is going to rush at Ace, and he's going to swing a sword and miss badly. The other one is rushing Locke. Does 15 hit your AC?
Nope.
All right, so he just misses you. And now it's going to be the party's turn. Since Signa is invisible, I'm going to say Signa can go first.
All right, Signa is going to move behind one of the guards that's currently in full attack mode, and then try to use the whip to sort of choke one of the guards out.
Let's go ahead and make an attack roll with advantage.
So that's going to be a 22.
Okay, so yeah, you're basically on this guard's back, choking him, and the effect of the whip starts to take full effect. So you're choking him out while he's convulsing from the effect of the whip. So he's not having a good day.
God.
Marina, you sounded like you were trying to get ready to do something. So we're going to go ahead and whatever action you had in mind.
She was going to reaction heat metal the guard that shoved Ace.
I don't think you can do heat metal as a
Oh wait, no.
reaction.
Yeah. It's not a reaction, it's an
It'd
action.
be, yeah, full action.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
the one who shoved him, the only metal item that he has on him is his badge, but that'll work. So you heat up the badge, and just the damage on that one just happens. So go ahead and roll it.
Okay. That's gonna be 12 damage.
All right, so yeah, the you see his shirt start to burn. He looks down, he screams, he tries to pull it off of him, he burns his hand, and he dies rather horribly.
I believe that's what they call karma, right?
Ugh, Karma is a bitch. That is true.
Though I wish he wasn't so rude. But
And Ace, you're now prone, but you are up.
All right,
can
I'm gonna
get
use
up.
my
It's your turn.
movement to get up, and the guy who is not being choked out while having a seizure, I will do my usual attack on him, main hand, and then offhand. So that's gonna be a 24 to hit with my main hand.
Definitely hits.
And it's gonna be 9 damage. I believe. Will I get sneak attack on that? I think
Yeah,
Locke
because
is right
your
next to
allies are
him.
close by.
Yeah, so I would get 5 more damage on that, so total 14. Then my offhand is 21 to hit and 2 damage. Not a whole lot, but I mean it's a shiv.
Okay. So this guy is now staggering. He's barely still on his feet.
Mhm.
Locke, you're up.
I'm going to go over to the one that's down, convulsing, and I'm going to try and hit him in the face with the bar that's in my hand.
All right, so you're going to be attacking with advantage because he's prone.
That is... I rolled a 10 on the dice. I don't know if I'm like proficient with this weapon, if it's a strength weapon.
Add strength and proficiency.
All right, so that's an 11 to hit. I have a -1 to strength.
Okay, I mean, you can use it as a shiv, so that would be a dexterity weapon, finesse weapon.
Okay, so that makes it a +6, so 16.
That does hit.
Okay. What's that? A D4 then, right?
D4 plus dex, yep.
Eight total damage.
Oof. Okay, so that lands hard. And it's going to be their turn.
Oh, not yet. For my bonus action.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
For my bonus action, the poor son of a bitch in front of Ace is going to get cooked in his own armor by the little spider bot on his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
That's a DC 15 dex save on his part.
He fails.
He takes...
Man, I've missed Spitfire.
He takes a 7 total fire damage.
He is down.
Being roasted. Jesus.
Smells like cooking bacon at this point.
I love the smell of human in the morning.
Marina's gonna add, it's like, do all humans smell like bacon? I should write that down somewhere. I don't know if the Trident people know about that. That's quite interesting.
Get the right cuts. It's usually the belly. That's where the good fat is.
So
okay.
Out of game, I have brands, and yes, it sounds and smells exactly like bacon cooking when you get brands. Anyway, so the one who's prone fails his save, so he's just still stuck in this position. Signa, what are you doing?
I'm going to try and stab him with the shiv.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack with advantage.
So that's going to be an unnatural 20.
That definitely hits. Don't even bother roll damage. I'm just going to say, given how hurt he already is, I'm just going to say you go ahead and put it on his throat or through his ear or something.
I'm really glad to hear that because I rolled 2 in a row with that. Need new dice.
All right. So, yeah, the guards have now been dispatched, and there's a door ahead of you. You don't find any keys on the guards. If you want to try to break down or otherwise get through the door in some way, let me know how you're trying to do that.
All right, everyone, we should try to ram it at full speed.
No. All right, I got one.
I don't think that works for you in the cell.
Well, my explosive expert friend, make the biggest boom you can. Don't think
I don't
anyone
got
knows.
any bombs, but I can do this much. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have Spitfire go up to the door because everything around that door is stone, correct?
Yeah.
And the door is wood with big bars across it, you said?
Yeah, like a heavy banded door.
Okay. Spitfire first is going to attack the door and light it on fire to kind of weaken it a little bit first. I don't know if you want me to roll damage or not on that.
No, we'll skip that part.
Okay, and then I'm going to take the rod that's in my hand again, and I'm going to whack it on the ground, and I'm going to use up my last spell slot to cast Thunder Wave at the door and just shatter it.
All right. So that doesn't quite do it, but you can see the door is noticeably cracked and bowed at this point.
That's all I can do right now, guys. I got nothing.
I'm going to use my cantrip Lightning Lore to essentially grab onto the door thing and pull. It specifically says strikes at one creature, but I'm basically grabbing onto a handle that I can see within 15 feet of me. must make obviously strength saving throw, be pulled up to 10 feet in a straight line towards me. So I'm essentially just trying to wedge it backwards with all the damage that's already taken so far.
All right, so between the force of the thunder wave pushing it in and then you pulling it back the other way, the hinges just completely give out on this thing and it falls.
Nice.
And what is ahead is the storeroom for this prison. It has a couple of things in it. One of them is essentially a rather disorganized storage area that appears to be the personal effects of prisoners who were brought here, including your stuff.
Sweet.
And additionally, attached to it is the armory. So if there's anything that wasn't in your starting equipment that is in the player's handbook, you're welcome to add that.
Sweet.
And so you're going to, so the question then is, are you going to take only your own stuff, or are you going to look through the effects of the other prisoners and take anything of note or interest from them?
I'm definitely taking anything of note.
Same.
Okay. All right.
He would probably do a small amount of that as well.
Okay.
Marina, out of sheer curiosity and the fact that everyone else is doing it, she'll do the same. It's like, oh, I guess this is what land people do.
All right. So that's where we're going to leave the session for tonight.
Yep.
Between now and next session, I'll have what items you all managed to retrieve from the other prisoners' effects. I hope this has been a fun first session of this campaign for you.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't go exactly as I planned, but that's part of the fun of it.
Most certainly. Well, thank you for joining, for hosting it, and for joining us on this. And hopefully all the viewers enjoyed this lovely episode of Absolute Chaos. Funny enough, I believe on Saturday I rolled 2 nat 1s back to back on a strength check with a 19 strength, 9-foot tall Goliath. So this is the second time in 3 days that I have seen a double nat 1. So it was very exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. See, it's cooking up to be a really exciting campaign so far, with some very interesting characters and very interesting designs. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. If you guys want to see more of Benny's stuff, either go up to our Tables of Tartarus series on, you can follow the links. We have very many of them, and there is a series that we did called Ventures in End Time, kind of the prequel to this campaign. Or you can go to his TikTok, AutisDM. You can also check out our various other things we do, Shifting Fates, as well as some homebrew campaigns such as Jump Chain. So if you guys enjoy all that content, and we're almost at 100 followers on Twitch. So once we get there, we're probably going to be doing a pretty neat in-person thing if you guys want to check that out once we get there. So come on board this wonderful ride. We have a wonderful calendar set up on our Discord, so check all that stuff out, and we'll see you guys next time. We're going to be starting this, I believe, next week at 3 p.m. PST on Mondays, and then at 7 p.m. PST, so in about an hour and a half or so from right now, we're going to be doing another campaign called Jump Chain. It's a homebrew one done by my brother. So I hope to see some of you guys there, and we'll see all of you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.